G'day race fans. Formula E on steroids and the driver's role is dying. These are quotes coming from world champions currently on the Formula One grid after 3 days of testing at Bahrain. Mick, what do you think about this one? It's not looking great.
It paints a pretty grim picture, eh?
It does.
Look, man, ask any racing driver what they want to do is they want to drive flat out, right? As far as maybe I can see the Formula E on steroids, kind of makes sense. Fernando Alonso's quotes about driver's role is dying, I probably tend to disagree. You still got to sit in the car. You're still in charge of the throttle and the brake. You still got to turn the steering wheel. It's up to you where you deploy and manage your energy. Yes, you're not driving flat out, but the driver's role is still massively important. It's not about being the fastest driver anymore. I think it's being able to manage a lot of other things.
Yeah, I mean, Formula One for a long time has been about certain amounts of management. But do you think now with where we're at, there's just too much emphasis perhaps on the engineering side? So the engineer becomes far more important, coaching or telling these drivers when to deploy, when not to. I mean, they always have, but it feels like maybe it's shifted too much towards that. And maybe that's where Fernando was going with that comment.
Yeah, look, I think at the start of every new regulation, there's more emphasis on the engineer and behind the pit wall. And then obviously as the regulations get older and everyone has more experience, there's not so much reliance on an engineer. So I think at the start, yes. Towards the end of a regulation, no.
I guess the issue, though, is I can't remember which driver it was. Maybe it was Fernando, where they were saying they were going through, I think, turn 12, like 50 kilometers slower than in previous years, just to save enough energy to then be faster on the straights.
Yeah.
To me, that's not a good look. If this is the case that it's going to be throughout the season. I mean, look, it's still early days. Things may change a little bit. But, mate, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not purely just about recharging the battery. You got to remember, too, these cars have, I think it's up to 40% less downforce. So that's going to play a factor as well. Yes, the way the regs are, generally a driver would get their speed from going fast around corners. At the moment, what we're looking at is until they get their heads around it and can fully maximise what they've got, we are just seeing cars that are really fast in a straight and really slow in the corners.
Yeah,
but I think they'll get better. They'll get better at the management, and you'll start to see by the end of these set of regulations, I guarantee you, man, they're going to be so much quicker than what they are now. In corners, down straights. But I understand the frustration. I mean, like I said at the start, man, you ask any racing driver what they want to do. They want to get in the car and rip the horns off the thing, flat out, flat biscuit.
Yep.
But Formula One they've never been able to do that in the last 10 years. There's some sort of management that they all complain about because they can't go flat out.
Yeah, no, you're 100%. Like, nothing's changed in that aspect. I just think it's gone probably a bit too far in the engineering side regarding the power unit. Because we know this year the power unit is, what is it, a 50-50 split now between the internal combustion and the electric unit. Whereas last year was 80-20, I think it was?
Yeah,
along those lines?
Something like that. But I mean, you've got to remember too, Formula One is the pinnacle of technology. The cars are going to get more and more complex. We've been so used to the last set of regulations where it was more about the floor and getting the floor to work, and now we've just stepped up the complexity, and it's just all it is creating a different driving style.
My only counter argument to that would be that we've got Formula E.
Yeah.
So if we want to go down that electric route, we've got the series for it.
But hybrid is also road relevant.
No, it's a very good point. But at the same time, we were hybrid last year and it was okay, right?
Yeah. But
so the split was much better.
Well, to be fair, when we were talking about the engines, this year the engine is more simple than what it was last year because there was two types of hybrids. So you had the hot side and then you had the kinetic energy side. We've taken the hot side away, which I think is the hardest part for these drivers, because the hot side was what used to keep the turbos spooling. So there was no, like, I guess you call it like turbo lag.
Yeah.
Now they've taken that away, and we're using kinetic energy, which we've had the whole time, but it's just being used. There's much more emphasis on using it, and it has to be used in a different way. So now they have to drive differently. Like, I mean, we saw with Max's driving style, we'll get into it in a little bit, the way he's driving the car's completely different, just trying to keep those revs up. But yes, I mean, I kind of do agree with you. Like, let's not be both. Let's be either full-blown dirty diesel combustion engines.
Diesel.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Diesel, mate.
Let's full just smoke the joint out, or we go full electric. But
well, I think you're forgetting that other little important intricate part is the sustainable fuels, and possibly going back to like a V8, but just running a sustainable fuel, which may be the way to offset all this madness.
Yeah, which is
let Formula E do the electric thing.
Yeah, which is, I think, what we're kind of heading for the new set of regulations. I think we may go to purely combustible engine. So,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There hasn't been much talk about these renewable fuels. So,
well, regardless about all this, whether you're pro-electric, internal combustible, it does set a pretty interesting opening to Melbourne.
Oh, man, first half of the year.
And what we've seen so far is, well, the four big teams all pointing at one another saying, yeah, they've got the fastest car, they're sandbagging. So it's all just pointing at one another with the top four. Haas are probably looking maybe the best out of the mid-tier teams.
Yep.
And the team that realistically at this point in time that looks underwater is Aston Martin.
Yep.
And we made a bit of a joke about history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And we made a bit of a joke about GP2 engine, Fernando Alonso back, I think 2015, and McLaren, I think it was. Surely he's not going to be hit with a lightning strike twice with Honda.
Oh, man.
But it ain't looking good, mate. Did you see the footage of Lawrence Stroll, I think after day 2?
He looked defeated.
Walking into the car, mate. He was, I mean, look, he's not the most, you could say, happy, approachable looking dude. Yeah. But, mate.
I mean, and apparently Fernando Alonso throwing his gloves when he got out of the car as well in frustration. Yeah, they're so far on the back foot. There's a lot of things to that. Not only have you got the Honda engine, they're building the gearbox, the suspension, in-house in a brand new facility. They've got new staff. Adrian Newey now is the team principal. It's almost like a whole new team. The culmination of all those things, and then turning up late to the shakedown and only really getting one day. They're definitely on the back foot. Well, it seems that way. Hopefully in the next test, they'll be better for it.
Well, how about we go through team to team, and maybe we just do it by whoever got the fastest lap.
Yep.
That was Kimi Antonelli overall with the fastest lap. Mercedes, day 3, 1-2 finish. What do you think?
Oh, right.
There's definitely more in the tank there.
Those sandbags must be heavy. They must be heavy. Lead sandbags, yeah. From what it looks like, it's clearly between Mercedes and Red Bull powertrains. George managed 188 laps. I think Kimi, he did 94? He missed, was it day 2 that he had?
Power unit issue, I think, on day 2, missed most of that, or maybe all of it, and then didn't get a lot of running the following day, but did manage to set the fastest time.
Yeah.
So maybe there are some little gremlins there with that Mercedes power unit, but to be honest, I don't think there's anything there that particularly massively worried about.
Mate, when you look at McLaren, 422 laps, Haas 390, Williams 422,
reliability is pretty good.
I tell you what, if you're Fernando Alonso, you're wishing you didn't have a Honda in the back of your car, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But yep, Mercedes looking pretty good. I mean, again, these lap times you've got to take with a grain of salt. We don't know what fuel loads are running, all that type of stuff. No one really wants to show their hand too much. But I think at this point in time, after those 3 tests, it was purely, you're looking at reliability, and even just onboards of the cars. Like, how do they look? Do they look like a handful to drive?
Yeah.
Look pretty smooth, good on traction out of corners.
It's definitely no porpoising,
No,
which was
no.
good to see. They definitely look harder to drive.
Yeah, and good to see like a little bit of rake on some of the cars as well.
Yeah.
Good to see a little bit of rake back.
Some of them look quite tough, man. Like front on, when you see them coming down towards you on the straight, it's like, they look tough.
It is nice to see quite a lot of difference between the cars, particularly the way some of these teams are designing around we can't call it, what are they calling it now? We can't call it DRS, overtake,
straight line mode.
Whatever it's going to be officially called at some point.
Yeah.
But just seeing the difference of the rear wing amongst most of the teams, particularly, like, I really love the look of Alpine.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the coolest things to see, was just the different philosophy. So no two cars are the same. No two cars front wing is the same. No two cars rear wing are the same. No two barge boards are the same. The only thing that's the same are the Pirelli tyres.
And again, like, things will change. I'm sure some of these cars will look a bit different come Melbourne as well. All right, moving on to Ferrari. Good overall laps, 421 laps overall, good workload. Leclerc 219, Hamilton 202. Lap times between them very similar, 134.2s for both. Everyone is talking about Mercedes and Red Bull, but Ferrari.
What we're seeing from Ferrari is just pure reliability. Like, I mean, those amount of laps, the laps that Hamilton put in on Wednesday, something like 100, whatever it was, 140 laps or whatever, 150 laps, I can't remember the exact number, but they are running pure reliability. The word is, come the second test, they're going to bring like a Spec A car, which is the car they're going to take to Melbourne, and that is supposedly going to look very different to what they got, because the car they did bring to the first test looked very similar to the car they had at Shakedown. They didn't change too much. I think they maybe changed the front wing and the floor after the first day. But for me, man, it's just pure reliability. And I think come the second test is when they're really going to start to chase the performance.
I think they'll be pretty happy with their 3-day run so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, Ferrari fans, maybe it really is your year. Defending champions, McLaren, well, that's still looking good as well regarding reliability, 422 laps overall. Norris and Piastri, again, within a tenth of one another. When we look at lap times, there's only the one stoppage, I believe, for Norris over the 3 days. Overall, pretty decent testing, not much to say. Again,
I mean,
just one of the four big teams, mate. They're there or thereabouts, right?
Yeah, I think you got to watch McLaren. I think they're going to be really, really strong. Apparently, there's reports coming out that the car you see there is going to be very similar to the one they're taking to Melbourne. So if that's the case, that car's looking pretty damn strong for the start of the season.
Red Bull. Some pretty good running. I think it was just Hadjar.
Yeah, he had hydraulic leak, I think it was, on the Thursday morning. So I think that cost him half the day or pretty much the whole day.
343 laps total.
Yeah, I mean, again, man, it's between them and that Mercedes. At the moment, I mean, if you're looking reliability-wise, you got to remember that's a brand new engine as well that they've built. They've never done that before. So to come out and be that strong off the bat.
Yeah, and you're also looking at, obviously, you're looking at the sister team as well, running the same engine as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed, because that was always my biggest fear with the Red Bull powertrains featuring Ford.
Yeah.
It's what it's called, was just, like, is it going to be reliable? Are they going to have an issue with it? But it seems all is pretty good there. So I keep saying, like, lap times really don't mean too much at the moment, but as long as there's reliability,
I mean,
it's a good foundation.
Max came out of the box flying, man. He looked super strong on that first day. By the looks of it, the energy deployment system seems to work the best out of all the teams.
Yeah, aren't they one of the quickest down the straight line as well?
I think so.
Top speed?
Yeah.
I did read.
Yeah. After that first day, everyone was like, the way Max was driving, how he was coming into the corners and just smashing down into the gears, like back down to first. And then obviously the teams were like, hang on a minute. So everyone was started to try and do the same thing. And then you just, like the amount of front locking we saw over the 3 days, man, was crazy.
So the team that impressed me, not just from a livery perspective, but from performance reliability, and that was Haas, 390 laps overall, Behrman 200 laps, Mr. Ocon 190. Pace-wise, not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty solid. And if you're going purely on performance, what we've just seen, you would have to say best of the rest so far.
I mean, I think I said it after the shakedown, man. I've got good juju, eh?
Yeah.
Got a good feeling about Haas. Not only is it the best looking livery, it seems pretty reliable. They were pretty quiet, man. They just went about their business. Few little niggles here and there, but nothing that stopped any major running. I think Komatsu's doing a brilliant job with that team, man. And I won't go into too much because we've still got to do the preview, but I've got a good feeling about that, man. I think the quiet Smokies.
Cool to see Jack doing there around the paddock as well, which is
Jack's
always
back.
good. Jack's back, man. He's doing well.
He's doing well.
He's doing well. All right, let's go Alpine. 318 laps. Colapinto 172. Gasly 146. Few stoppages for both. I think Gasly's one was more. I'm sure it was Gasly that came out and said it was just more of a. They just pulled up as a
precaution.
That's what I'm looking for. Thank you very much. Interesting as far as the DRS overtake mode. It's real. It's like the whole Twitter and X thing. It's like, do you still, tweet X Twitter? Anyway, I love that rear wing.
Yeah, I mean that Alpine. Something about that Alpine.
It's that Mercedes value to the back, maybe.
Their philosophy, especially around the aerodynamics, I think is quite a few little clever little things they've done. And look, we know they wasted 25 and basically used a 2024 car, no upgraded car. So realistically, they probably should be better. They've had the most wind tunnel time out of any other team except for Cadillac. And again, man, they were pretty smooth, except for maybe Colapinto at the the practice start. He nearly put it in the wall. Again, pretty smooth, bit of front locking. And I mean, they seem quietly confident about what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
They're quite happy with how things went. So I think any team with that Mercedes engine, okay, yes, we had Kimi with the little gremlin, but apart from that, most of the teams ran faultlessly.
Now, Audi, 354 laps over the 3 days, Hulkenberg 178, Bortoletto 176. I think all three drivers were running quite consistently over the 3 days. Yes, it's a new team, carryover from Sauber. I'd say they'll be pretty happy where they're at.
Well, they were the biggest surprise, man. They were the team that came out basically with what looked like a completely different setup. Like, when you looked at the car, it was completely different to what they ran in the shakedown. They ran that crazy side pod with like the vertical inlets. I guess you call it like the zero pod that Mercedes tried. So they've obviously going really aggressive with the design. Apparently that car's really, really loud as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. Mate, they've clearly got some smart people there. They're playing to win, man. They've given themselves a target of, 2030? To be fighting,
5 years, I think it was.
To be fighting for a world championship. I think they're probably going to they're going to be pretty strong in that midfield, I think, just off what we've seen in the last 3 days of testing.
Yeah, Jonathan Whitley was pretty happy in the interview I saw, quietly happy where Audi is at. Now, Williams, they were an interesting one just purely because they missed the shakedown test, but they've come out, they've knocked off 422 laps. Albon and Sainz, 208, 214 laps between them. Pace-wise, a little bit on the slower side, but again, you can't read too much into that. Good workload. It seemed to be a positive start for Williams, purely just based on they weren't around at the shakedown.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they used this 3 days for, was basically their shakedown, but an extended version. Really, the only biggest issue I could see for them was the glitch with the lights on the rear wing with the hybrid system. Apparently, were flicking all over the place and weren't working. So I don't really think they've lost a great deal. When you compare them to someone like Aston Martin, I think they're well ahead.
Yeah. well ahead of Aston Martin. Racing Bulls, 327 laps. Lawson, 169. Lindblad, for the rookie, getting in there, 158. No dramas. Seems to be the engine, as we discussed with Racing Bulls. Sorry, not Racing Bulls, with Red Bull. Seems pretty reliable. So, again, one of those teams where you just don't really know where they're at, but I think they're traveling pretty well at this point.
Yeah, clean, smooth. I think they only missed a little bit of running on the Wednesday. I think they had some issues. I think they missed sort of like that first half of the first session or the first session. But again, man, just clicking off the laps. Lawson said he's slowly trying to come to terms with the car, which I guess all the drivers are. Look, seemed like when you listen to Alan Permain, it sounded like it was a pretty standard test, really.
So the new American team on the grid, Cadillac, a first official Formula One testing. Not too bad, 320 laps overall, few stoppages, but you can give them a bit of leeway with regarding these type of gremlins. Get it all out of the way now, Cadillac, before Melbourne.
What we saw in that first test, man, was basically a continuation of the shakedown test. Like you said, man, that team is literally like 10 months old.
Yeah.
They built that car in 10 months. They built that team up in 10 months. They're still working through procedures, man. Like, again,
they need to build a stronger mirror too.
Yeah.
Bottas blew his mirror off. Did you see that? I think it was his mirror.
Stronger glue, mate. Stronger glue.
Stronger glue.
The only thing I will say, after seeing it on track, that livery, nah.
Caddy, you could have done so much better, mate.
Yeah. But look, it was good to see the old boys back on the track.
Oh, yeah, the old number twos.
It did look like hard work for both of them. There was quite a few lockups. But yeah, I think a procedural test, really.
Yeah. And then finally, on to the 11th and final team. That is Aston Martin.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Struggle streak, man.
Yeah, it is struggle streak. 206 laps overall. Lowest mileage of all the teams. Stroll 108, Alonso 98. And when you're looking at lap time pace, both in the 138s. So we're looking at over 4 seconds off the top teams. Look, major concerns realistically right now is the power unit. I think the first initial issue was the RPM, wasn't it? Like it wasn't able to pull as many revs as the other.
Well, I think they speed capped it. So it wouldn't go over a certain point because they were worried about protecting the engine and having a failure. Then you throw in a new gearbox, a new suspension that's all built in-house. There's going to be teething problems. What they reckon, they're about 4 months behind where they need to be.
And around 4 seconds behind.
And around 4 seconds behind too. So, and the thing is, the team didn't really deny it either. Like they just said, we are a fair way behind because we only got that 1 day of running in Barcelona. So it was just a bit of a knock-on effect. And look, Adrian Newey cars too, man. They're known for being world championship winning cars and super dominant, but they do take a little bit of time to get your head around. Hopefully, Alonso's got some patience because I've got a feeling it's going to be a long first half of the season.
You take these numbers from these tests, and it's not always easy to know what the truth is. It could be an easy fix. It could be just one particular part on the car or part on the engine unit, whatever, that needs to be slightly modified. But if it's systemic, and then there's layers upon layers of complexity to get around a particular issue, then that could be a problem. We saw that with Ferrari last year with the rear of that car.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, we just changed the suspension or whatever and we're all good to go. It seemed to be they were just constantly trying to work around an issue.
Yeah, because I didn't know what the issue was. That was that. And I think that's kind of the same here for Aston Martin, man. But again, who's to say they don't rock up at the second test and go, fooled yous? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, this is all just speculation. But,
well, Stroll would be a pretty damn good actor, Lawrence Stroll, because honestly, him raging out, well, he wasn't raging, but the look on his face walking out end of day 2 was pretty telling. I'm worried, not necessarily for Aston Martin itself, but just it was one of my hopes that this season Alonso could be in a competitive car.
Yeah.
Just to spice things up.
GP2 engine all over again?
Possibly.
I mean, we saw it when they went to McLaren, then they went to Red Bull. What is it? History doesn't repeat, but it certainly rhymes.
Often rhymes, yeah.
So, who knows?
Well, looking off those 3 days, who's your, if you're just going to make a bold-ass prediction right now on Constructors' Champion, Drivers' Champion, and Wooden Spooner, who are you looking at?
Well, we'll go into it in the predictions as to why, but I still think George Russell, with that Mercedes power unit, has to be odds-on favourite, but I think Max is going to be right there as well, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
Who do you think's going to be the Wooden Spooner, though? Team-wise, just constructor.
Oh.
Because it's tricky, because if you look at Aston Martin right now, you go, yeah, they've got problems, but when you think about their intellectual capital of the team, you think they can dig themselves out of the hole.
I truly think Cadillac. I think Cadillac is this purely a learning year for them. Has to be.
Yeah.
I don't think we can expect mega amounts of performance. Yeah, taking aside what we've seen, because we still have another test and then we go into the season proper and anything could change. But I'd have to say, yeah, Wooden Spooners for me would probably be Cadillac.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think Cadillac is
most
likely.
Like you mentioned Haas, you mentioned Audi. Who's your smoky?
The one that's going to surprise, bit of a surprise packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, just based on those 3 days, I think it's Haas.
Yeah.
I think there's something going on with Haas that is looking pretty good. I mean, it seems to be reliability of Ferrari at this point as an engine unit is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And by the looks of things, I'll go with Haas. But again, end of next week, ask me these same questions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to be completely different, right? So,
but I am looking more forward to this coming week because I have a feeling we will see some better one-lap pace, some more on performance.
Well, yeah, that's the test where they have to start chasing performance for the start of the season. And what I'm looking forward to seeing, maybe apart from McLaren and Alpine, how much difference there is in the cars. Like how different they are going to be. Like I said, Ferrari are meant to be bringing a Spec A version of their car, which is going to be completely different to what they've got now. Who else is going to bring something different? The changes are still coming. I'm interested to see and being able to get a good look at the cars, and I think we are going to see some quite different concepts to what we even saw in the first test.
You just wrapped it up. I was about to give you the final thought, but I think you probably nailed it pretty well.
Yeah, final thought, man. Look, pretty reliable. Plenty of work to do for Aston Martin. Cadillac, they've got a long way to go as well. Ignore the lap times. Next week, come Friday, is when we really pay attention and we see who's got what. So until then, we will catch you in the next one. Catch ya.